One thing like I really wanted to talk about is just kind of like encapsulate, all the whole week, Jimmy's HoH,
Yep.
how like on the one hand, all three of his initial nominees got off the block. That's
Mhm.
bad. On the other hand, he flushed two powers, which that could be good.
I mean, sure, but like,
I'm grasping at straws here.
yeah, that's not really like the headline here.
No.
Um, I think that like the one thing that we did get from this episode was what I would say is the headline, which is like after, like right at the start of the episode, after the second veto ceremony, we get this Mickey diary room and then the Mickey and Morgan conversation that Jimmy kind of awkwardly walks into, where they're very upset. Like this is not like a small like piece of the story. Like this is a major story element that could feed into next week, which is like he has severely pissed off his closest allies by not really including them, or like legitimately listening to their ideas about who the renown should be. Like I said at the top of the show, um, Morgan and Mickey are targeting Catherine primarily right now. But, alongside Catherine, you have like tangential to her, Riley and Lauren. And so those are the three names that Morgan and Mickey were pitching to Jimmy to put up, even as just pawns. Because they want Catherine out. They don't like Catherine. A lot of the house doesn't like Catherine. And Jimmy basically just like didn't even consider that as an idea because he spent a lot of this week trying to cozy up with Catherine and Lauren as potential like side allies, which is like, it's good in theory, right? If you're the HoH and you think you have a solid kind of foundation to use that power to like try to branch out, get side alliances, build other relationships that aren't as strong. That's good in theory, but you can't do it at the expense of your existing alliance, your existing relationships, your existing friends, because like you're basically like burning one bridge that's already built to try to start building another one. So like you have a fully built bridge. And by the end of the week, you've burnt that one to the ground, and you have now a half-built bridge on the other side of the river. And it's like, okay, well, you've just taken a step back for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what was like? I guess when people were coming to him this week on the feeds and pitching like different people, what was Jimmy doing? What was like? He's just like not listening at all and just being like, I just want to do this person instead.
Well, no, it's not that he wanted to do Amy and Will. It's that he had basically like talked himself into thinking that Amy and Will were the only options that didn't burn relationships that he was trying to build. Because like I said, he was trying to build some kind of relationship or bond with Catherine and Lauren and potentially use them into the future. And so if you have that and you have him with the heavy hitters, which is like kind of still holding on, it's not real, but it's like, they've kicked Riley out, but like the five of them are still not really like a fully formed alliance. Rachel is very much on the peripheral of it. Like I guess like from his perspective, he's like, who can I put up that won't piss off somebody that I'm trying to not piss off? And he basically is like, the only options are Amy and Will. Like that won't piss off anybody that I care about. And like from that perspective, I get it. But by like playing that way, you're not pissing anyone off in terms of like, they're not going to be up like Morgan and Mickey are not upset that Amy is gone, right? But they're upset that he basically kind of wasted this HoH, which they could have used to solidify the power more. And he has been so dismissive of them as allies that they don't really trust him going forward as somebody who's going to be an equal partner in the game. So, yeah, it's just like he really did not have a good handle on what his priority should have been in getting through this week. And I think there was also a lot of visits last week where too scared to do something that could piss somebody off, you end up like kind of pissing everyone off because you're not taking a side. You're not like taking a stand on behalf of anyone. You're just trying to like take no stands on behalf of no one, and that is going to piss off the people who expect you to take a stand on their behalf.
Who would have been like a good person to him to get out that would have like pleased the most amount of people? Other than Kelly?
I mean, other than Keanu and Kelly, obviously.
Yeah.
Because Keanu and Kelly would be like, 1A and 1B for that.
Right.
So I think probably Riley. I think Riley is probably the one. Like the only people that really have like a strong relationship with Riley are Catherine, and then to a lesser extent, a couple of the guys. Like Vince has kind of like tried to form a thing with Riley. Zach has tried to form a thing with Riley, but I think that like even they would be like perfectly willing to cut bait with him. But like the reason that the main reason Jimmy is not putting up Riley here is because of Catherine. And so that's like the relationship that he didn't want to mortgage. But like you kind of have to pick and choose your battles at this point when you're putting up a 4th and 5th nominee. You have to take a stand. Yeah,
and I mean, going forward, do you think Jimmy's really, I guess, tanked his game with this? Or is there room for recovery?
There is room for recovery, yeah. He's definitely taken a big hit because I don't think that Mickey and Morgan are ever going to fully trust him again or like fully want to work with him like deep into the end game. And they have talked about potentially not targeting him themselves, but being happy if they can get somebody else, maybe like an Ashley, to target him for them. So yeah, he's definitely taken a hit. It is recoverable. I think he has started to recover it. He has started to reform new alliances, potentially bringing in Ava and Will, potentially bringing in Ashley. Like there are pieces in place here for Jimmy to pick up and get back on track. But he took a huge social hit, and if this house was more solidified in terms of structure, he would probably be way more dead in the water. But it isn't. There is no structure in this house right now. It's a bunch of little pockets of power.
So very interesting. Unfortunate for Jimmy. To really like when you get an early HoH, I feel like you have so much potential power.
Yeah.
Like so you can shape the future of the game so much, and to kind of like let that slip through your fingers is bad. I mean, we saw a few seasons ago Heisem just like completely like nuke his own game for no reason.
But a lot of Heisem.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. It reminded me of Heisem. But you're seemingly saying it's not quite as dire as that.
No, it's not quite as dire as that. No, because with BB25, right? The sides were pretty solidified by the time Heisem's HoH was over, and Heisem's side had like basically completely turned on him, and so he didn't really have any kind of like life raft to grab onto. Whereas here, there's not really like that kind of a solidified situation. And Jimmy is not, by not burning people like Catherine and Lauren and Riley, is not going to be targeted by them if they were in HoH. But like there are a couple of people that he probably will be targeted by. But the thing is, too, he also has a situation with Keanu where, again, Keanu is not planning on targeting Jimmy. Like, maybe he puts Jimmy up on the block, but Keanu's target is going to still be Rachel, even after the, 14 arguments with Jimmy publicly, Jimmy putting him on the block as his target, and, like all of these things. Like, Keanu still does not want to target Jimmy. So, there's he might get away with this, but it's still bad. It still like significantly hurt his game.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like he had a very sloppy HOH. I mean, granted, he did have to nominate 5 people.
Yeah.
And granted, the outcome wasn't really like who cares? Like, Amy wasn't a major player at this point. So, but the way he went about it was just so sloppy, and I feel like that alone, like you guys are saying, he can recover from it because it's so early, and it's tough when it's this early of an HOH because yes, you can take that safe route and just evict someone that really isn't, a major part of the game at the time, or you can take a big shot. But he like tries to take his own shot, doesn't listen to his alliance, ends up getting someone out that doesn't even remotely matter. But in doing that, like as you said, Ben, burned a lot of bridges, or at least nearly burned them completely. So I don't know. It was sloppy, but kind of a crappy scenario when there's so many renoms and powers in play. So I think overall it's a kind of fail, but mostly fail, but not completely.
Yeah.
It's like a D. Not quite an F. But a
Yeah,
D.
well, yeah. I mean, I would say like a D plus. I think like if like for me, like Vince was like a D because he also put up as somebody like an ally, right? Like technically, like that would be like if like if Jimmy put up like Morgan or something, like
Right.
like try to compare to what like Vince is doing.